Hey guys, this is Kari with Becky Higgins, and this video is going to walk you through the steps that you need to take in order to back up the pages that you are creating in the Project Life app. Now, we have all heard those horror stories of friends who have lost all of their photos or important documents because their hard drive crashed. And we hear from customers on a fairly regular basis that have either lost pages from the Project Life app, or that their app has accidentally been deleted from their device, and so then their pages are no longer available to them. One thing you need to understand about the pages you're creating is they are actually stored there in the app. They are not stored externally somewhere. So unless you are doing that yourself, you won't have access to them if your app gets deleted. So because we know that, it's important. We want to make sure that you're all doing it effectively and regularly with the pages that you're creating. So my personal recommendation is that you make backing up your pages a regular part of your creation process. So it's something that happens every time that you are creating a page in the app. That way you'll always have access to it if something happens to your app or if there's just some technological glitch along the way. Because technology is fantastic, but it is not foolproof. I think we all have friends that can relate to that story. So now that we've talked about how important it is to have a backup of these pages, let's talk about what our options are. Now, whether you are creating new pages and backing them up as you're doing them, or you are looking to export and back up pages that are already completed in your library, the process is the same. So I'm going to go ahead and start with a page that is completed in my library by tapping on the lower left quadrant, which is yellow. That will bring up my library, and I will go ahead and tap on one of my pages. Now, something I want you to think about before you start backing up these pages is where you want to be able to access these pages later. For me, that's going to be Dropbox because I save just about everything in Dropbox these days. But for you, that might be backing them up to the hard drive on your computer, or it might be saving them to the camera roll or the gallery on your device. Whatever it is that makes sense for you, that's where you're going to want to back things up in your process. So again, it might be different for each person, but that's something that I really want you to think about before you actually start exporting or saving and backing up any of your pages. So now that we've decided where we're going to be backing up and saving our pages, let's talk about what our options are. Now, in the lower right corner, you're going to find the option for sharing or exporting your pages. On iOS, that's going to look like a little box with an arrow pointing up. On Android, it's going to look like a greater than or less than math symbol that opens to the right. You'll go ahead and tap on that. Now, on iOS, your options are going to be social sharing and export. On an Android device, you'll see social sharing at the top, then 8x8 image, 12x12 image, and editable backup. You'll find that when we go into the export menu on iOS, you'll have those same options. But let's talk first about what they mean. Social sharing means exactly that. It's perfectly sized for sharing on social media platforms, text messages, and things like that. So this is where you'll have the option to share directly to Instagram or Facebook. It will be a smaller file size and lower resolution. So if you are wanting to print your pages, you're not wanting to actually save these social sharing sized images. That's strictly for what it's designed for, social sharing. So you would do that by tapping social sharing. It's going to give you a little whirly, and then it will give you your options where you can save to Dropbox if you want, but this is really where you're going to want to share directly to Instagram or Facebook or one of those social media platforms, or for text messaging as well. This is not going to be the option that you want to use if you're trying to print. Okay, so let's go back to our options there, and let's talk about the exporting options. Okay, when I tap on export on iOS, I will get the options of 12x12 image, 8x8 image, or editable backup. Now, the difference here is that the 12x12 and 8x8 images are saved as JPEG files, which means they are flattened and ready for print. Now, I will always recommend to people to save a 12x12 image over an 8x8 image, unless you know for absolutely positive that you will never want to print your page bigger than 8x8. The the idea behind that is that 12 by 12 is going to be the largest size. The resolution will be the same if you're exporting, but the size of it overall will be larger if you're saving it as 12 by 12. So you can always print smaller than that. So you can print 10 by 10 or 8 by 8 or 6 by 6, any of those square sizes. But if you save as 8 by 8 and you want to print a 12 by 12, there's a good chance that you're going to compromise the quality of that print because it is saved at a smaller size. I hope that makes sense. Regardless, I always recommend saving as a 12 by 12 image. Now, the great thing about saving the image versus the editable backup is that is ready to go for print. So what I recommend, of course, as you're going through the process, double check all your spelling, look for errors, make sure your pictures and everything are exactly the way that you want them, and then go ahead and save or export that image. In this case, we're going to go with 12 by 12. Again, it's going to store the data, and we're going to go ahead and choose to save to Dropbox. Now remember, you have a lot of options here. If I want to, because I am using multiple Apple devices, if I want to go ahead and use Airdrop, that's a super easy way to get things from a device to a computer. So I could tap on where it says Kari's MacBook Pro, and it would actually save it right to my computer. The other way to save it to your hard drive, if that's what you really want, is to go ahead and just email it to yourself. So you would tap on mail, and then it would actually attach that file for you, shoot it off to your email address, and then you can open that on your computer and save it there locally. For me, like I said, I want to save to Dropbox. So I'm going to tap on Dropbox, save to Dropbox. It's going to pull up this window. Now I'm going to go back into Dropbox just so you can see what I have here, because I actually have a folder in Dropbox that's for Project Life app pages, and then I have it broken down into multiple folders. I've got complete pages, editable backup, and to print. Now for me, I'm just going to be saving this as one of my completed pages, so I'm going to choose that folder, and then I'm going to go ahead and just hit choose. So it'll show down there where it says save location that it's going in that completed pages folder. Now the next thing you can do is actually tap on the file name, and it will highlight that, and then you can go ahead and name it whatever it is that's going to help you remind you what the page is. So for me, it's going to be Huntington, and I think it's 2014. Okay, so once I have the file name in there, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. It's uploading it. There we go. And now that page file is actually saved in Dropbox. Okay, and then you would go about the same process for all your pages. So I'm going to close that one. I'm going to go ahead and open another page here. Again, tapping my export, and I'm wanting to save it off of my device. So I'm going to go with a 12 by 12 image. It's going to go through the process again. I'm going to go ahead again and choose Save to Dropbox. And now because I've already saved pages there, it's going to pull up that same location every time unless I go back and choose a different folder. So again, I'm just going to tap the file name, and I'm going to change it to snow. And then I'm going to hit save, and it will save that page to Dropbox. Now, if you haven't been backing up regularly, this could take you a little bit of time, because for each page, you're going to want to go back to your library, open the page, and then export it and save it wherever it is that you're backing up. But I promise you, it will be worth every minute of time that it takes to know that you have a backup of all the pages that you have created in the Project Life app, so that if anything ever were to happen to the app on your device, you would know for sure that you have those pages somewhere so you could still get them printed. So like I said, I promise you, it'll be worth every minute. Then once you know that you have your entire library backed up, make it a part of your process so that when you're creating new pages, when you're done, make sure that you spell check everything, look everything over, look at your photos, make sure it all looks the way that you want it to, and then right then and there, export the page, save it, and back it up wherever it is that you have all of your pages backed up. Now let's talk quickly about the editable backup option. So if you open your page And again, we tap on the lower right corner and we choose export instead of social sharing. We see the option for editable backup. Now that means it is a special file type that is only readable by the Project Life app, but allows you to make changes or edits to your page that has been saved. So to create an editable backup, I would go ahead and tap that. Now here your option is to save it in a place like Dropbox or in Google Drive if you are on an Android device. So I would tap on copy to Dropbox, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose, you can see on the left side there that I've already chosen the folder Editable Backup. I have a folder where I like to keep those. And then I would just tap on this here and I would put Disney Christmas, since that's what this page is. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now you'll notice that we are actually here now in the Dropbox app. It opens it in that app for you. So in order to actually save these editable pages to Dropbox, you have to have the Dropbox app installed on your device as well. And then if you'll notice in the upper left corner, you can actually choose Back to Project Life. So I'm going to go ahead and tap Back to Project Life, where it will open up exactly where we were. And then I'm going to go back to my library and close out of that. So in order to open that page now, I'm going to go to Dropbox because that's where the page is. And I'm going to actually tap on a different folder here of Disney pages because I don't want to try and open the same page that I already have in my library. I'm going to choose another page that I've exported previously, which obviously I did not rename here. So I'm going to just tap on that page. It's going to tell me that the file type can't be viewed. It's because it's not a JPEG image. It's not something that's viewable because of the PL page file type. But what you need to do then in order to open it in the Project Life app would be to tap on the three little dots in the upper right corner. And then it will ask you if you want to export it, rename it, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to choose export, meaning that I'm going to send it outside of Dropbox into something else. Now I have just a few options here. If you want to send this page to someone else, let's say you want to send it to your mom or your sister who went on the same vacation with you, but might want to do their own journaling, and they have the Project Life app. This would be a way that you can share a page that you've already completed, but that they can go in and make changes to it the way that they want. Then you would go ahead and tap mail. It will email that file directly to them. Because I want to go ahead and open it in the app, I'm going to choose the icon that says open in. And then it will give me the option of choosing copy to Project Life, which means it will open it in the Project Life app. So I'm going to tap that. And look at that. It shows me the app and it says, would you like to add this page to your library? Of course I would. So I'm going to tap yes. And then when I go to my library in the lower left quadrant, you can see that this is actually the page right here that was just added to my library. And I can then go in and I can tap on this and I can tap on the journaling box and I can go ahead and make changes to that page in any way that I want to. So that is how the editable backup works. Again, it's not necessarily something that you need to do with every page that you create unless you really feel strongly that you want to have a backup of every page that you can make changes to. For me, if I know that I've completed a page, I've double checked my spelling, I've made sure that everything is the way that I want it to be in order to print it, I will go ahead and just export that as a JPEG file, and I'm not going to worry about being able to edit it. But it gives you a great option if you're trying to share pages between devices particularly, or you're wanting to share them with other people who also use the Project Life app. One last thing that I forgot to mention about an editable backup. Whichever device you are trying to open that backup on needs to have whatever kit you used downloaded. So for example, if you created the page using the Everyday Edition and you saved it as an editable backup, and then you sent that page to your mom because you knew that she might like it, in order for her to open that and have it function correctly, she would have to have the Everyday Edition downloaded on her device. If she doesn't, then it won't include any of those cards because she doesn't actually own them on her own device. And it works the same way. If you're going from one device to another, you want to make sure that you have the same collections downloaded on both devices in order for those editable pages to function properly when you try and open them on a second device. I hope this helps you understand exactly why backing up is so important and how that can easily be done every time you're creating pages in the Project Life app.